Parents, if your child is struggling with ADHD, you are not alone. In fact, over 6 million kids across the United States are diagnosed with ADHD, meaning that 10% of our pediatric population. That is nuts. Especially when you consider the fact that many more struggle with hyperactivity, loss of attention, and problems focusing and go undiagnosed. And as a country, how do we take care of that? Well, digging deeper, 60% of those kids are taking what's classified as a class 2 narcotic, a stimulant, which come with nasty side effects such as addiction, and they're regulated by the DEA. Now, ADHD is a serious condition. It is a real condition, but drugs are not the only answer. And that's what I'm here to tell you today. So if you want a drug-free, natural solution for your child that's struggling with ADHD, so you can either get them off of a nasty stimulant medication that is changing the way that your child is, or you can prevent them from starting this medication. This video is for parents who absolutely want drug-free and natural solutions for their child struggling with ADHD. So they can either get them off of these nasty stimulant medications, or they can prevent them from even going on them in the first place and having the possibility of becoming dependent upon them later on down the line. And also for those parents who do not want to change their child and their ADHD personality, but instead want to help turn that into a superpower. We got a deep dive into the science and the neurology behind ADHD, describe what the real root cause of the situation is, and provide some practical tips and strategies for you as a parent to help with your child to overcome that ADHD without drugs and allowing them to truly reach their full potential. So as I say with every video, slap this in your Facebook group, share this on your Instagram, show it to your cousin, send it to your brother-in-law. Get this message out there. There are tons of kids that are dealing with this issue, that are dealing with ADHD, that are having a hard time. And the heartbreaking part about it is, after sitting and waiting for a long time, trying to see if they'll grow out of it, most kids end up on a stimulant medication. We know that when we take these stimulant medications, we see changes right away. We go from a baseline level, that medication jumps and it changes the system to a completely different level. But then what happens when it wears off? Right back down. The problem being this repeated application and this continual need for the stimulant medication, kids get two things. They build up a dependence and they build up a resistance. It's kind of a love-hate situation. They need more of it to keep their system going. And ultimately, that's a problem. Overall, medicine's not a bad thing. But we have to understand that when using the same thing over and over again and trying to expect a different result or thinking it's just going to get better on its own, well, my friends, that's a little crazy. As I said earlier, there are over 6 million kids with an ADHD diagnosis in the United States today. Almost 4 million of those are taking stimulant medications. Now is the part where we insert that if I had $1 for every kid taking stimulant medications, we could really get this message out there, and we could. But we are clearly facing a crisis of overstressed and out of balance kids, and it's worse than we've ever seen before. As I've said, I've worked with kids for over 10 years, and I've not seen it this bad. Traditional medicine may blame genetics. They may say it's a chemical imbalance in the brain that's causing that ADHD and the other neurological disorders we can toss on there. But there's a lot more to the science and the understanding of ADHD than those two factors. By and large, the number one thing that I find with kids that are struggling with ADHD is that they have an overstressed and out of balance brain and nervous system. Their sympathetic or fight or flight part of their nervous system is just stuck in overdrive, pedal to the metal, down to the floor, going 100 miles an hour all the time. And the way that I think about this is you're driving down the road, driving 35, speed limit's 40, you know you're doing all the right things, you put your turn signal on to change lanes, and in your mirror, you see a police officer pull out and put his lights on. Now, you may know that you didn't do anything wrong and you're not the one getting pulled over, and as he zooms past you, you take that breath of relief, but that instantaneous feeling of dread that you feel where your blood runs cold and you shiver a little bit. Now imagine being in that state, that feeling all day long, all the time. That's what this stuck on sympathetic, fight or flight part of the nervous system always being on is, and that's how these kids are feeling. And the other part of their system, the parasympathetic rest, hit the brakes, chill, sleep, eat, sleep, poop, take a dump, anything, that brake pedal part of their system, it's just not working. That brake line sprung a leak, they are toast. And when this sympathetic gas pedal turned on all the time is running rampant and uncontrolled, what do we get? Well, we get the symptoms of ADHD. That thing's stuck on, it's firing too easy, where small things become big things very quickly and we don't understand why, and all too often, it just doesn't stop. And the classic symptoms of ADHD present themselves. We're talking impulsiveness. We're talking hyperactivity. We're talking trouble focusing. We're talking behavior problems. We're talking difficulty sleeping, and so on and so forth. This imbalance in the central nervous system, specifically the autonomic nervous system, that we ourselves can't control internally no matter how much we want to, it controls us, leads to a chemical imbalance. There it is. A chemical imbalance of neurotransmitters that are released at the inappropriate time or too often, too much. What do these neurotransmitters do? Exactly as the word says. They send neurological messages and they transmit signals throughout the nervous system to the rest of the body to change the state. Therefore, if we're looking to get your child back into a state of balance, a state of regulation and focus, we got to look at the inside. First, we've got to look at that central nervous system and get that back into a balance where that fight or flight, stress on, I'm so stressed out, my eyes are like dinner plate system, versus the I'm pretty chill, my body's doing what I need to, I'm going to go take a nap system, has a nice balance. And it's not like an on-off switch, it's more like a dimmer switch. So we want that dimmer switch to function like it's supposed to and not just be slammed into one or the other all the time. And this is the thing, it's not the hardest thing in the world to do. Balancing and regulating that brain and nervous system, it's exactly what neurologically focused pediatric chiropractic is doing. One portion of our insight examination looks at this system exclusively, and we can tell, first off, where's your child at? Are they stress stuck on or are they burnt out? Where on that line do they fall? And we can also say, how efficient is the system overall? Is it running at 100% where it needs to be? Or has this problem been going on for such a long time that we're only 60, 70, or even only 50% effective in the way that that system's working? By doing this, we can quantify objectively your child's health challenges, and we can work and track our progress. It's the biggest thing, tracking progress and seeing these things change over time. So the first thing to do, if you are dealing with a child with hyperactivity, behavioral problems, ADHD, it all falls under a similar umbrella. And you know that there's a different way to go about it than medicating your kids into a different person. Your first step should be getting an insight scan to evaluate the health and the efficacy of your child's nervous system to see if they are gas pedaled down through the floorboard, going 100 miles an hour, hitting that red line, engine screaming. We don't want that thing to burn out. We can evaluate and quantify the neurological stress and strain that your child feels, and we can work to make a plan for it. If you want to know more about the approach, check out our website in our bio. You can learn more about what these scans do, what they look at, and ultimately how we can use these to help your child. So again, if this hit home for you, if your child is exactly what I've been describing with the impulsiveness, interrupting, needs everything right now, doesn't focus, can't pay attention, interrupts again, small things become really big things, lashing out, misbehaving, kicking your poor dog, then don't wait till tomorrow. Give us a call right now, shoot us a message right now, send me an email right now. I'm here to help. Can't wait to meet you. I can't wait to help you and your family. I'll see you soon. Take care.